You are listening to Radio Long Island City, recorded at our studios near Hell Gate, 9 kilometers north of the Harbor Hill Moraine. And now, the Observatory. The Observatory, Wednesday the 31st of December 2025. It is 10 days after the winter solstice. It is 79 days before the spring equinox. By the Gregorian calendar, tonight is New Year's Eve. Tonight is the 6th night of Kwanzaa. The sun rises today at 7:20 a.m. Solar noon takes place today at 11:59 a.m. The sun sets today at 4:38 p.m. Civil twilight ends at 5:09 p.m. and nautical twilight ends at 5:43 p.m. The length of daytime today is 38 seconds, longer than yesterday. The moon is in its waxing gibbous phase and is 89% full at midday. The moon sets today at 4:23 a.m., and then it rises today at 1:38 p.m. The full moon will arrive on Saturday, the 3rd of January. These are the predicted tides today for Horn's Hook. Near midnight, low tide, 12:27 a.m., minus 6 centimeters. In the morning, high tide, 7 a.m., 1 meter 62. In the afternoon, low tide, 1:22 p.m., minus 12 centimeters. In the evening, high tide, 7:38 p.m., 1 meter 22. In our shared realm of plants and animals, examining the stump of the fallen elm tree in Hallett's Cove, one can see that the Parks Department has done a nice job tidying up. The large tree took down some of the scrubby trees along the seawall. The stump and root ball have been left in place, presumably to stabilize the upper part of the sand beach. And 2 very large pieces of wood, probably remains of docks that once stood on the cove, have been wedged into the sand, making a stepped sequence down onto the smooth beach. The stump stands about 3 feet high, and now the generous growth of moss that covers the north sides of the stump really stand out. When the tree was standing, the moss was much less obvious. So the stump supports a thriving living community and will continue to do so for quite a while as it slowly decays in place. Commemorations. On this day in 1796, the city of Baltimore was incorporated. Happy birthday, Baltimore. On this day in 1907, the first New Year's Eve ball drop took place in Times Square. The owner of the New York Times, Adolph Oakes, organized the event. The first ball was made by Artcraft Strauss, a company that would go on to make many of the most famous illuminated signs in Times Square, including the smoking camel sign. The first ball was mounted on a special flagpole atop the New York Times building and was made of wood and iron with 100 incandescent bulbs. The ball drop has taken place in Times Square every New Year's Eve since then, except for 1942 and 43, when wartime blackout restrictions made it impossible. This year, a new ball will make its debut at midnight. This 7th ball is the largest one to date. It has a diameter of 12.5 feet and is covered with 5,280 circular Waterford crystal panels. This year's ball will also be dropped twice. Once to mark the arrival of the new year, and then a few minutes later, once again to mark the 250th anniversary of American independence. On this day in 1983, the AT&T Bell system was broken up by the United States government. That was an era when antitrust laws were enforced. On this day in 1999, control of the Panama Canal and the Canal Zone was returned to the nation of Panama under the terms of treaties signed under President Carter. Colonial control of the canal by the United States had come to an end. Today we remember Odetta, born this day in 1930 in Birmingham, Alabama. Odetta was raised in Los Angeles. Trained in classical music, she began her career in musical theater, but by 1950 she turned to folk music, where she would make her mark. She sang the traditional American spiritual, "O Freedom," at the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom in 1963. Martin Luther King Jr. called her the Queen of folk music, and she influenced countless performers, including Harry Belafonte, Bob Dylan, and Janis Joplin. Remember Odetta today. This is a bulletin from the International Earth Rotation and Reference Systems Service, to authorities responsible for the measurement and distribution of time. No leap second will be introduced at the end of December 2025. Signed, Christian Bizoir, Director of the Earth Orientation Center at the Observatory de Paris, France. And this sixth night of Kwanzaa honors the principle of Kuumba, or creativity. We wish a Happy New Year to all our listeners. And that is the Observatory, Wednesday the 31st of December, 2025.